Suplifters. Today I want to talk about combat sports. Why I love them, why did I start, and why I think everybody should learn how to fight a bit. So I was thinking about what do I want to start. So I think I'm gonna start with the philosophical side of it. So I said in another video that there is this manga called Hajime no Ippo, which means the beginning of Ippo. Ippo is the main character. And he basically begins his boxing journey with a question in his mind, which was a question that I also had when I started my combat sports journey and even my bodybuilding journey, which means, what does it mean to be strong? And this is an extremely deep and philosophical question, because really, what does it mean to be strong? And why you might find that answer in bodybuilding and in combat sports. So combat sports have taught me a lot of stuff. Number one, it is discipline. It is the most important thing ever. I remember that I went to uni and I had my BJJ club. I remember that I left my home with my backpack where I had all of the stuff for university and my gym bag for jiu-jitsu. And I left home at like 7:45 a.m. and I came back home at 10 p.m. I was outside the whole day. I then came home, I ate, I washed like the Tupperware in which I brought in my lunch. I had a shower and I went straight to bed. And it was hard. It was of course hard, because one, it's inconvenient to bring around all of the stuff when you're taking trains and buses and you're walking outside with other people, you're staying with your friend group and so on. So it was extremely annoying and it was extremely hard. And I was basically bringing this huge bag around everywhere I went. And I had to do it every single day. When I did MMA, again, same thing. It was a horrible time for me. It was an horrible time for me. It was from 7:45 p.m. to 9 p.m. For me, that is the time in which I am the most tired, in which I just want to rest. However, I had to give myself a kick in the butt and I had to go there, sweat and fight with other people. And when I finished, I was always the happiest man in the world. And they're gonna teach you discipline, because you need to want it bad enough to go there every single time. Every single day, you have to go there and you have to grind. And it's not gonna be fun. It isn't as easy, quote unquote, as bodybuilding. You know, it's one thing to being suffering while you're curling, while you're squatting something. It is another to be fighting with a man who is 10 kilograms bigger than you, who is trying to choke you out on the ground. It is not as comfortable. However, as David Goggins said, as Jocko Willing says, and all of those bad guys says, like bad in the sense they are bad, not in the sense they are bad. They are bad guys, you know, they are good guys. Like, they are bad motherfuckers. That is the term that I like to use. They say that you should be comfortable in the uncomfortable, because guess what? It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And that is the whole concept about combat sports. They're gonna make you miserable, you're gonna feel weak, and you're gonna be humbled every single time. The first time I went to jiu-jitsu, I was at my pretty high weight of like 83 kilograms. I went rolling with a small girl, 60 kilograms. I got tapped out 8 times. 8 times. I would have died 8 times against her. Now I agree that jiu-jitsu is more of a sport than a combat sport, because there is no striking, so perhaps if I could have struck her in the ground it would have been different, but I still think that I would have lost. That's besides the point. So you're gonna get humbled a lot, and you're gonna be taught respect. You're gonna be taught respect for your teacher and for the other people, because when you are there, you are training. You are learning how to hurt someone, but in a controlled manner. If you hurt your partner, you are an idiot. I still feel bad. I was rolling with this girl, and I was in the guard position, and they basically grabbed her wrist, and I tried going for an Americano, okay? What happened, however, is that as I basically brought my arm in order to enter and grab my own wrist, I elbowed her in the face. She didn't get hurt, luckily. She didn't get knocked out. There was no cut, nothing whatsoever. But I felt like shit. And I also got called out by my teacher because after that, we kept rolling, but I was way more soft, okay? So before I was actually trying to win, or rather trying to, trying to train. There is no winning when you're sparring or when you're rolling with someone. You're just training. No win, no lose, only learn. So before I was actually trying, but after that I became much more softer because I was afraid of hurting her. And my teacher called me, why are you doing this? Just because you elbowed her, we know it was an accident, move on. Keep trying, she's not gonna learn anything if you let her do everything to you. And I remember that I got so mad in that moment. Because I felt like, damn, he's such an asshole. But he said the truth. So, I don't think that everybody would have said that. Meaning that being in that field, having that confidence of saying something that harsh to somebody is not easy. And it is something that is born from the confidence that you get from combat sports. So you're gonna get humbled a lot and you're gonna learn respect. And you're also gonna learn brotherhood. In the sense that when you have a team, because you fight alone, but you're never alone. Because your whole team is helping you to get better. And you want to learn from the better people. And at the same time, you share this brotherhood on the tatami when you fight with people. And when you roll with someone, when you spar with someone, you know them in a much deeper way than words could ever say. If you share the tatami with someone, you can really learn a lot about them. You can learn if you like to take risks. You can learn how much they are, quote unquote, like selfish with their training. I was extremely teachful when I rolled. When I was with people who I knew I could crush at any moment, I let them play with me, meaning that I let them get me in bad positions. I gave them my back. I fought to avoid getting choked out, because where is the value for me in just going there and tapping them 15 times? There is no value, unless they are being assholes. If I see that they're being assholes with other people or newbie which are starting just like them, and I don't know, maybe they're bigger than them, and that's why they tap them out, then they gotta get humbled. You gotta get humbled them soon as you can. And the sooner you do that, the sooner they understand. But again, I found no value in doing that. Other people actually did the opposite. So instead of letting the newbies, getting them in bad positions, they tried to actually do like more difficult techniques against them. So they were selfish in their training, meaning that while I tried to let them work, they used that experience to work on themselves, which is perfectly fine, and everybody should do whatever they want. I'm not saying that I'm better than them or that they're doing the right thing. It's perfectly fine, but it says something about the person. However, as I said, it's not about right or wrong, it's about priorities. They are fighters. The majority of people there wanted to fight. I was there just, for entertainment's sake, because I enjoyed it. Again, when you spar with someone, you understand by the style in which they fight, do they throw a lot of weird stuff, or are they extremely solid and basic? I am extremely square with my striking, I keep my guard high, I use a lot of the jab, I use a lot of my low kick, because those two are my favorite weapons, which are extremely basic and low risk. I do not like to throw spinning stuff which would allow my opponent to get my back. On the other hand, I try to be more defensive and reactive in order to shoot for the takedown, because I like fighting on the ground, because I got more control. Again, people who like to strike do not like to control physically their opponent. They like to move freely, they do not like being held, having that gruesome pressure against them. While I do like doing that. I like holding my opponent tight, like removing their ability to move slowly but surely and then gaining the top position. Other people are more for the flashy stuff. They throw spinning back kick, spinning hook kick, because they like that, they are freer. And when you spar with someone, you understand this in such a deep level. You create such a connection with your sparring partner that is simply indescribable. And this is something that I cannot talk about, but I see it every time I watch the UFC. When you actually fight with someone, when you're trying to take their head off and you finish, that is where you really understand somebody. That's when you really understand how far they're willing to take it, how bad they want it. Look at Adesanya versus Gastelum. At the beginning of the 5th round, Adesanya said, "I'm ready to die and I'm ready to kill." Because that is reality. He wanted it that bad, and look at that. He's the best middleweight we've ever had. I believe he's better than Anderson Silva, for sure. He wanted it that bad. So this is why you create an extremely weird connection, not weird, but special connection with somebody you actually spar with. And also it's amazing to see the growth of other people, but that is basically, it's okay for every single thing. Like it's something that happens in whatever thing you do. You see people grow, you're happy about it. So that moves me on another thing, which is confidence. And why do I say that everybody should actually learn how to fight? Number one, because they learn the reality of violence, okay? Because every time I hear somebody say, yeah, but in the streets I will do this, I will do that, you wouldn't do shit. You wouldn't do anything. You don't know anything. Why are you talking? What are you even talking about? You wouldn't do anything. I swear to God, you wouldn't do nothing. Because you don't know how bad violence is. You don't know how bad it hurts, how bad things can get. You do not understand it. You simply do not. And once you do understand the reality of violence and you become capable of bringing violence against another human being, that is when you really understand the meaning of being peaceful and being a pacifist. Because I see a lot of people who say, yeah, I'm against violence, I'm a pacifist. No, you are not a pacifist. You are completely unable to bring violence. You are innocuous. I hope that's the right word. You are not capable of bringing violence. If you are not capable of hurting someone, you are not choosing to not hurting them. Okay? That makes sense. If I cannot hurt you, it is not my choice because I do not have that option. If I do have that option, however, if I can choose to literally kill you on the spot, I am doing that choice. And that kind of, brings back to the whole idea of laws and what is really right or wrong, like the stuff, the classic example, you find a kitty on the street and, he's kind of hurt perhaps, he has a scratch. And in this country there is a law that says that every single kitty on the street that is scratched needs to be saved and brought to veterinary. Otherwise you're gonna get killed on the spot by the gods, okay? If there is a law like that, I believe everybody will take that kitten and will bring him to the veterinary. On the other hand, if there is no such law and you see that kitty and you do not do that, are you really, and you just walk away, this is one option, or you see that kitty and you actually take it and you bring it to the veterinary. However, let's look at the first and the last example. Who is really virtuous and who is really doing the right thing? The one who is basically obliged, basically he must do it, otherwise the gods will literally kill him on the spot, or the one who chose to do it when he's not going to have a single reward? I would say there is the second one, and the second one is the person who can hurt somebody and chooses to not do that. And trust me, it is hard. It is way harder. I remember once I kind of learned how to fight, and trust me, you don't need to be a champion in order to beat the average Joe, okay? Don't get me wrong, I'm not special by any means. I'm weak regarding the MMA fighters, the grapplers. I am bad. I am at the bottom of the food chain. However, this is the bottom of the food chain and this is the regular Joe, okay? Or in general, these are other athletes who are not complete, quote unquote, okay? For instance, a good boxer is still gonna be bad, like worse than a mediocre MMA fighter, in my opinion. Simply because they lack all of the ground game. However, it is hard when you have the option of actually hurting someone to maintain the cool and feel like, okay, this is the wrong thing, I shouldn't do that. And again, once you understand the reality of violence, you will also avoid as much as you can to actually fight with somebody on the street, because yeah, it might go quote unquote well and you might knock him out, so you know, you're just gonna go into jail, nothing good. However, it can also go wrong, and that dude could bring out a knife. And then the question is, who is the idiot? I say both of them. One, because he's willing to fucking stab someone over something stupid. However, the guy who decided to actually not walk away is another bigger idiot, because he doesn't understand the reality of violence. This is why you should understand why and how much violence can be bad, because it really allows you to avoid everything. To me, if somebody is threatening me and I'm gonna simply walk away and they're gonna tell me, yo, you are a chick, and I'm perfectly fine with that, because I have my own self-confidence. I do not need to prove anything to anybody. And if somebody, let's say that I was with a girl and she said, oh my god, you didn't defend me. Yeah, of course, I'm not gonna risk getting stabbed for something so stupid and trivial. And if she said, oh, you're a pussy, perfectly fine, I'm okay with that, you're free to leave whenever you want, that is so stupid. So why do I believe that, this is why I believe that oh my god. This is why I believe that everybody should learn how to fight. And also because I believe that if everybody understands the mentality that I'm trying to share with you, there will be a lot less violence in the streets over trivial, stupid stuff. Of course, I'm not saying that I'm not going to defend myself if somebody is attacking me. However, if I can prevent that from ever happening, that is the better option. And this brings us back to the first question, which is, what does it mean to be strong? Does it mean to choose peace over violence when you have the opportunity? Does it mean to be stronger than your opponent and being able to crush them? Does it mean to be physically stronger than most people? I really think that the best way of strength, like the most pure way of strength and the realist way of strength, is what my coach did with me, which is saying and doing the harder thing, or the most, however, the rightest thing to say, which is, why are you holding back? Okay, you made a mistake, but don't waste time treating air with with the gloves, okay? You are still sparring, you are still rolling. Why are you letting her do whatever you want? You know, the example that I brought before, when I elbowed that girl in the face by mistake. My coach saw that, he told me, okay, you did that. Of course, we know that you didn't do it on purpose. However, now, don't waste time. Do something correct, okay? Which is, roll with this girl, give her the opportunity to be better, give yourself the opportunity to be better. And at the time, I didn't get it. I was like, damn, my coach is an asshole. I thought he was an asshole, because I thought, I just elbowed her in the face, how am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to do that? Just do what I do every single time, which is roll with her. It never happened. We trained together for months, nothing bad ever happened. However, on the moment, it must have been hard for me to say that. Like for him to say that to me. Because he respects me just as I respect him. And it is the most important type of strength for me, is saying and doing the right thing at the hardest moments. And that is just an anecdote, because of course in fiction there are a lot of moments where people do the right thing over the easy thing. However, in real life it is extremely hard. And I really thought about it a lot, you know. I mean, I'm still doing this channel for myself, but you know, I have been kind of thinking if I will ever get, sponsoring, you know, maybe somebody will sponsor me and it will be a supplement company. Will I be able to tell them, no, your products are shit, I don't want you? Will I be able to do that? Or will I crumble under the amount of some money, the first money that I will ever probably earn? And this is just an hypothetical scenario. And I'm preparing myself to say no. If I believe that what the company is offering is trash, I'm gonna say no. If they do not allow me to say all of this stuff is trash, but these two things are okay, I'm not gonna take that sponsorship. And it's gonna be hard, because the easy thing is just saying, yeah, I'm gonna take the money, you know, I'm just gonna lie to my audience. because by definition, if I'm gonna have a following, I am gonna create some kind of parasocial relationship with them, which means people think that they know me. They do not know me. They don't. You don't know anybody on YouTube, on Twitch. You don't know anybody. So learn to do the right thing. Learn to fight. Learn to know what violence is. I'm gonna finish the video with just one last topic, which is why I decided to pick bodybuilding over MMA or any type of combat sports. And the main point is basically injuries, in the sense that I am very injury prone, as you know. So of course they are combat sports, so there is physical confrontation and everything can go wrong at any moment. Of course, it's not that every single session somebody gets hurt, don't get me wrong, that is not what happens. And it also isn't the, the objective to hurt somebody in training. However, know that if you're doing wrestling and you're practicing throws, you might throw bad, you might like fall in a bad way, you might do something to your body. Know that that is a reality. And I really thought about it, and in the long run I want to have a healthy body, a functional body which can move even at a late age. And this is why I chose bodybuilding, because I can self-regulate my own training, and I believe that I can be the best coach for myself. The last reason is simply time, in a sense that right now I don't really have a schedule because I'm a student, so the lessons change every semester and even sometimes from week to week, so I cannot simply stick to the time that the fighting team that I go to actually decides. Maybe if I have a day in which I train, like I have lessons from 8 a.m. to like 7 p.m. I don't want to come home and then instantly go to the gym. I don't want to do that. That will be my rest day, the day in which I do the lighter stuff, because I can auto-regulate again. This is it for today's video. See you guys in the next one. I hope you kind of understood why I love combat sports. And actually I just talked about my experience. I might do another video why I love combat sports in general. See you guys in the next one.